The question why we're all here is a key one. What we're recapping on today is we're looking at the country and what's going wrong. This is so easy now because every member of an audience sees it for themselves. Jobs are going, schools are going, general chaos, major problems with the financial system. Everything is getting chaotic. Now, we know that that's happening as a result of a deliberate attack on the country. The question which people want to know now is what we're going to do about it. And this is where the British Constitution Group has consistently come in at a different angle, because we are saying that the existing system is so rotten you can't actually get in and change it. What we've got to start doing is building something better, moral, honest, just, efficient, alongside this rotten shell at the moment. And we can then be doing two things. We can be attacking the people who are destroying the country. At the same time, you're offering a beacon to bring people across. You're giving them hope. You're showing them where they can go. And in the beginning, some people, I'm going to say, were laughing about this because they didn't see it was possible. If we take the subject of MPs, the moment you talk about MPs, people start talking about political parties, and they were going down the route that to get the change necessary, you had to get a party elected. We have seen the state of the fraud and corruption in the electoral system alone, and it's clear to us that you are not going to get a party elected. The other side controls the system. So what we need to do is get people away from party politics and back to individual members of Parliament. They are independent, they are elected on their own views and values, and we actually believe it should be made unlawful. I'm going to correct myself there. It is unlawful under common law for a vote in Parliament to be anything but a free vote. So we know that by using whips to direct the vote of politicians in Parliament, you are watching law breaking. So we need to get rid of the political parties. They should be banned, all of them, in my opinion. And instead, the only people who are elected to Parliament are done as individuals. And any form of common purpose between them should be made a crime in itself. So what we're saying is let's start putting together the people we need. So we're already starting to see people break away from the mainstream parties. People in the smaller parties are now saying we're beginning to see what you're talking about because our leaders are collaborating with Europe. I mean, if I just take UKIP and BNP as one example, both the leaders are now paid by the European Union. Well, how ridiculous is that? So we're gently saying, stay where you want to. If you're in a group or an organisation, stay where you want to, but start to do the right things. And those things, we're pushing them forward. Now, this is why we've also gone for the same idea with the banks. We know that the present financial and economic system is totally corrupt. It can be proven, it's obvious. So what we should do is, instead of burning ourselves out trying to correct the system, we simply start a parallel system, the lawful bank, although there are other people who are looking at similar ideas now. And we can start to get people issuing their own currency, which of course is the way it should be and was. So the bankers that everybody feels they must kowtow to, we simply say, go away. We don't want you. We don't want your money. We don't want your debt. You can have the debt. We are simply going to start a parallel system. Now, I know that Roger Hayes and a team have done a lot of work on this, and the system is there now, complete with the ability to make cash transfers and use cash machines. So it's not pie in the sky. The actual technical system for doing it is there, and all that we need are people to come on board. I think you should talk to Roger about the detail, but it's not fantasy, it's not fiction. The reality is there to start getting the country issuing a proper currency and cutting out the bankers from it. So, if we just take the MPs and the economic system as a starting point, nobody else has been talking about what we're talking about in the same focused way. If you had interviewed me 2 years ago, I think I'm quite an optimistic person, but we got a really major task because so many people were asleep. In the last 6 months, there's been a phenomenal change. I'm not making that up. The phone calls, the emails, the information which is pouring in show that people are waking up. They're starting to think for themselves again, and that must happen to do anything. And the second thing that's happening now in recent months is you are seeing the government ministers and in UK and on a worldwide basis, they are clearly panicking. And the reason they're panicking is because they know that enough people are starting to look at the problems in the right direction. Now, that was not happening 2 years ago. So we will see, and this is one of the things that David Icke talked about. He said when enough pressure comes on the world establishment, you will start to see people running for cover, and they will be ratting on their fellow criminals, basically. And that's what I believe is starting to happen. So we've got to push. It's not going to be easy, but I think the fact that there are now financial hardships, people are suffering, they haven't got jobs, there's food parcels being handed out in this country, which I think is disgraceful. The more people hurt, the more fertile they are to say, hey, what's going on? And now when you say to them, we need to do something about it, they don't laugh at you, they want to know how. And that, of course, is what we'll be talking about.